You know you gotta do that. What's up?
Got your Wi-Fi on, man.
Got your Wi-Fi on.
Oh, we got twins.
Yeah, come on. You know how we come from.
I ain't even playing
And they got me mic.
Imagine waking up as the Cleveland Browns' fourth-string quarterback, buried on the depth chart, fighting for scraps of practice reps. Now picture becoming the starter for a nationally televised NFL preseason game just weeks later. That's exactly where Shadur Sanders stands today. But here's the twist. No one saw this coming, and the whispers are deafening. Is this a golden opportunity, or a carefully disguised trap? Stick around. This story will blow your mind. If you love NFL drama, smash that like button. Just weeks ago, Shadur Sanders wasn't even getting second-team snaps. Buried behind veterans like Kenny Pickett and Tyler Huntley, analysts predicted he'd be redshirted, or worse, cut before week 1. Just weeks ago, Shadur Sanders occupied the bleakest spot on Cleveland's depth chart, buried beneath established veterans like Kenny Pickett and dual-threat backup Tyler Huntley.
Kevin Stefanski confirmed that the only two quarterbacks playing in Friday's game will be Shadur Sanders, who will start, and Tyler Huntley, who just arrived.
Analysts openly speculated he'd be redshirted all season or even cut before week 1, labeling him a project player in a win-now QB room. Team insiders noted he rarely took snaps with second-string units, relegated to scout team duties, while others polished chemistry with starters. The silence around his progress felt deafening. Even die-hard fans assumed he'd vanish into obscurity. Then, without warning, head coach Kevin Stefanski shattered expectations at a press conference. His declaration, "We'll play Shadur at quarterback," carried zero qualifiers. Not for evaluation, not in specific packages. This was a full-throated endorsement for Sanders to start Friday's nationally televised preseason opener against Carolina. The shockwave rippled league-wide. How does a QB4 leapfrog 3 veterans overnight? Scouts from all 32 teams now have this game circled. In a league obsessed with gradual development, Sanders' sudden ascent defies every conventional playbook. During joint practices with Carolina, an unscripted moment ignited social media. Cameras captured Sanders embracing former Colorado teammate Jimmy Horn Jr., now a Panthers receiver, their handshake evolving into a coded exchange. Sanders' words, "It's personal. If you know, you know," echoed through the field mics, instantly resonating with college football fans. That phrase was the lifeblood of Deion Sanders' Colorado resurgence, symbolizing the underdog grit that defined their locker room.
This was the one joint practice against the Panthers, and I think overall you can say Panthers won the...
But this reunion hides razor-sharp stakes. Horn isn't just a friend. He's now an opponent with intimate knowledge of Sanders' tells and tendencies. Sources reveal Panthers coaches grilled Horn for insights post-practice, turning brotherhood into tactical ammunition. When these two clash Friday, it won't be nostalgia on display. It'll be a high-speed chess match. Horn knows Sanders' cadences. Sanders knows Horn's route breaks. Their bond now fuels a rivalry that could dictate preseason narratives for both franchises. Cleveland's lockdown of practice footage bordered on secrecy. No highlight reels, no press access to team drills. Only fragments emerged via encrypted burner accounts and credentialed reporters' vague tweets. We know Sanders went 2-4, 3-7 on 7S, targeting receivers like undrafted rookie Isaiah Floria and practice squad journeyman Mike Gage. Even more telling, he took these reps in torrential rain while veterans sheltered indoors. Despite limited opportunities, 0 second-half drills, fewer snaps than Pickett, whispers from Browns staffers hint at something extraordinary. One position coach texted, "He makes jags, just a guys look like pro bowlers." A beat reporter admitted, Gage was invisible until Sanders put the ball where only he could catch it. In a league where quarterback success hinges on weapon talent, Sanders' ability to elevate unknowns suggests rare improvisational genius.
We had it in 7-on-7. How in the hell you jump off sides in 7-on-7?
Yeah, that's crazy work right there. That is insane. Get a false start or
Yeah,
jump
in
off.
7-on-7.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We had it in team. We had it in the punt game.
Those rain-soaked completions to Floria, threaded through double coverage. The NFL's obsession with traits misses this. Sanders manufactures gravity where none exists. Skeptics see a dangerous game at play. Cleveland's decision to bench WR1 Amari Cooper, rest, and rising star Cedric Tillman, coach's decision, leaves Sanders throwing to fringe roster talents. Pair that with his recent arm fatigue, managed but not fully healed, and near-zero chemistry with receivers, and the deck appears stacked. Critics argue the Browns want Sanders' name-driven hype without the commitment. Let him drown with backups, then justify keeping him third string. The organization's media blackout fuels suspicion. By restricting practice footage, they control the narrative either way. If Sanders struggles, they'll cite limited weapons and rookie jitters. If he shines, They're geniuses for uncovering a diamond. Former NFL execs whisper this reeks of asset flipping. Showcase him preseason, then trade him when value peaks. But the gamble backfires if Sanders looks overwhelmed. With no safety net and national cameras dissecting every throw, this could immortalize him as a cautionary tale or a folk hero. Amid the noise, Sanders' practice tape reveals why this gamble exists. In rain-drenched drills, he placed a back-shoulder throw to Jalen Gill so precisely, the DB never turned his head. His anticipation on drag routes turned 5-yard gains into 20-yard explosions. Scouts clocked his release at 0.38 seconds, faster than 80% of NFL starters, while his pre-snap adjustments audibles hinted at elite processing. This isn't just about making Cleveland's roster. If Sanders dominates Friday, 31 teams will reevaluate their quarterback futures. Imagine Chicago watching Justin Fields struggle while Sanders carves defenses. Picture Las Vegas, desperate for QB stability, dialing Cleveland's front office. Sanders' pedigree, son of Deion Sanders, guarantees attention, but his play could trigger a bidding war. As one AFC scout warned, if he throws 2 touchdowns, Cleveland loses leverage. The kid becomes gold. For Sanders, this is a 60-minute audition to rewrite his destiny. This isn't just a preseason game. For Shadur Sanders, this is a tectonic shift, a 60-minute audition that could catapult him from obscurity to NFL immortality, or bury him under the weight of what-ifs. The stakes aren't just about stats. They're about legacy, leverage, and the very future of Cleveland's quarterback room. The crossroads of a career. If Sanders succeeds, if he carves up Carolina's defense with third-string receivers in a nationally televised spectacle, he doesn't just earn a roster spot. He ignites a phenomenon. Overnight, Coach Prime's son becomes Cleveland's undeniable future. Scouts from quarterback-needy teams, Chicago, Las Vegas, Atlanta, will flood Cleveland's front office with trade offers. His jersey sales spike, the Browns' social media explodes, and suddenly, veterans like Kenny Pickett aren't just competing against Sanders, they're fighting to stay relevant in his narrative. The NFL's obsession with it factors finds its newest poster boy. But failure? If he crumbles under pressure, missed reads, turnovers, deer-in-headlights hesitation, the narrative hardens instantly. Critics brand him a Nepo baby, elevated by fame, not skill. The Browns justify relegating him to QB3 forever. Teams that might have gambled on his potential vanish. His path narrows to practice squads or overseas leagues. And the most damning truth? Cleveland's setup theory looks prophetic. They gave him the stage, but sabotaged the script. The Panthers' blood in the water. Carolina isn't here to be a footnote. Panthers defenders circled this game the moment Sanders' start was announced. Why? Because Jimmy Horn Jr. spent hours in their film room dissecting Sanders' tells. He revealed everything. Sanders' tells under pressure, his eye movement on play action, even his cadence quirks in loud environments. One Panthers linebacker texted a friend, "We'll bait him into throwing picks all night. Kid won't see it coming." This defense smells vulnerability. They'll blitz Sanders relentlessly, knowing his receivers, Floria, Gage, Gill, lack the chemistry to adjust hot routes. They'll disguise coverages, exploiting his limited NFL reps. And if they sack him early, the psychological warfare begins. Every smirk, every taunt, still personal, Rook, will echo in Sanders' helmet. Carolina doesn't just want to win, they want to expose him. The Browns' high-wire act. Cleveland's front office walks a razor's edge. If Sanders dominates, they're geniuses, but also trapped. Do they bench $230 million guaranteed starter Deshaun Watson for an untested rookie? Do they trade Sanders for draft capital while his value peaks? Or do they risk a locker room mutiny by favoring the new kid? Conversely, if Sanders flops, they face fan fury for wasting a preseason spotlight on a project. Sponsors question their judgment. And the most dangerous outcome? Sanders shows just enough promise to intrigue rivals, but not enough to unseat Watson, breeding resentment in both quarterbacks. The ripple effect across the NFL. 31 teams are watching, not just scouts, GMs and owners. Because if Sanders shines, he proves a radical truth. NFL readiness isn't about years on a depth chart. It's about poise, processing, and elevating trash to treasure. Suddenly, GMs rethink drafting toolsy QBs in round 1. They chase diamonds in day 3 rough. The league's quarterback valuation model fractures. But if he fails, traditionalists rejoice. See, they'll crow. Quarterbacks need seasoning. No shortcuts. Teams clamp down on gimmick promotions. Rookies like Sanders get buried deeper on depth charts. The door slams shut for unconventional rises. The unspoken pressure. Imagine Sanders' headphones before kickoff. The weight of his father's Hall of Fame legacy. The noise of 70,000 fans dissecting his every drop back. The knowledge that ESPN's cameras will isolate him after every incompletion. This isn't just physical, it's psychological warfare. One source close to Sanders revealed he's not sleeping. Watches film until 3 a.m. This game's his entire life right now. The ultimate irony. Win or lose, Sanders already altered the Browns' trajectory. His mere presence exposed Cleveland's desperation at quarterback. Watson's massive contract now feels like an anchor. Pickett's veteran stability looks replaceable. Tyler Huntley's signing seems reactive, not strategic. Sanders didn't just climb the depth chart. He held a mirror to the franchise's flaws. Friday night, 0 hour. When Sanders takes that first snap, he isn't just playing Carolina. He's battling ghosts of Brown's QB failures past. The Nepo baby stigma, a front office's murky motives. His father's immortal shadow. 31 teams waiting to feast on his missteps. There are no mulligans here, no development reps. This is trial by inferno. If he completes a touchdown in triple coverage, Cleveland City will ignite. If he throws a pick six, the boos will rain harder than those practice downpours. The final verdict. History won't remember this as preseason week 1. It'll be the Shadur Sanders game, a turning point for how the NFL discovers quarterbacks. Win, and he forces every team to ask, who else are we overlooking? Lose, and the old guard tightens its grip. One throw, one drive, one night, everything changes. Shadur Sanders was never supposed to be here. Not this fast, not with this pressure. But Friday night, under the brightest lights, he's got one shot to flip the script. Will he become the NFL's next Cinderella story, or a cautionary tale? One game changes everything. CTA. Drop a comment with your prediction, and subscribe for the aftermath.